Hey guys, it's Audra and we're outside again. How fun is that? I'm going to try to get through this video. It's really windy out here, so I'm hoping it all works out and that you can hear me and that the wind isn't too much. But it's so pretty outside today besides the wind that I wanted to come outside and shoot this. And obviously the natural lighting is a lot better as well than what I have going on inside. So today's video is going to be a book review. Now, this is the first time I've ever done a book review on this channel, and the reason I wanted to do this is that I love to read. And honestly, when I read, I don't read all the time, but when I do, I feel like I'm like a binge reader. Especially if I get into like a series or a trilogy or something like that. Like, that's all I want to do. I just want to read it and read it and read it until it's done. I will get up early, I will stay up late, I don't watch TV, like it's all I do. But recently I've wanted to not do that, because obviously that's hard to do, you know. It definitely takes away from the time I spend with my husband, and I don't focus on anything else. So I've wanted to just read singular books and just space them out and have some time to like read them and process them. So my goal is one book a month, and then I'm gonna share with you my thoughts on that book. So I've joined a book club that a friend invited me to, and most of the time I will be sharing with you the books that we do in the book club. So this month's book club pick was The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Now this is a book that's been turned into a movie, and the book was published, I believe, in the mid-2000s, somewhere in there, 2005 to 2009, somewhere in that area. And then the movie came out just a few years ago, and in the movie was the girl from Harry Potter. I can't remember her name right now, but I'll post a link to like the IMDb or something like that, so you can check it out if you've not seen it. Now, I will say that in reading this book, I just want to preface my review by saying I did see the movie first. I did not watch the movie realizing it was a book. It just happened to be on TV one day when I didn't have anything to do, and I kind of got drawn into it. And so I had watched the movie first, not in a like I'm here to watch this movie and I know it's a book kind of way, just like it's on TV and I'm watching it. So I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but like I wasn't really focused on what it is and what it was about. I just was watching it. And it had probably been about 7-8 months since I'd seen the movie when I started reading this book. I definitely did remember a lot of parts of it, but there were some things that I also did not remember, so that was good. I will say, in comparison, just before I get started, if you've seen the movie, it is one that you can go back and read the book. I definitely think that that is possible and not feel like anything was ruined for you. And I was also really happy with the casting, even though that's how I had seen those characters first, so that's how I still pictured them in my head. I was still really happy with it. Like, I didn't feel the need to change my image of the character. Okay, so let's move on to like the actual book and the thoughts about the book. So I read my books on a Kindle, so I don't have a paper or a book cover to show you, but I will insert a picture now. The book's The Perks of Being a Wallflower was written by Stephen Chbosky. It is a young adult coming to age story. Now, in this book, it is set in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the early 90s, 1991 to be exact. It is written in a first person, so the main character is who you're hearing the story from, and it's written in not a chapter format, but a letter format. So in the book, the main character, Charlie, is writing letters to someone we don't know, and he's kind of just telling them about his life. The characters in the book, I'm just going to read off my list so I don't forget anybody. Charlie is the main character. He's a 15-year-old boy. He is entering his first year into high school at the beginning of the book. Sam and Patrick are two characters that are seniors. They are stepbrother and sister, and Charlie has class with Patrick, which is how he knows him, and then he meets the stepsister Sam at a football game when he approaches Patrick. Mary Elizabeth and Bill, Mary Elizabeth is friends with Sam and Patrick. I'm sorry about the dogs. I can't make them shut up. They're the neighbors. Later in the story, Charlie and Mary Elizabeth date. Bill is a teacher at the school, and we find out that he's in a program called Teach for America, which puts recent graduates into school systems that have a hard time hiring teachers, typically because they're like rural communities or they're inner city schools. So we don't really know much more about why Bill is there. We just know that he works for Teach for America. And he takes a particular liking to Charlie and is a good role model and influence in Charlie's life. Aunt Helen. Aunt Helen is one of two characters in the book who are actually not still alive. And so they're only talked about, you know, in the past and activities with them in the past. Charlie's family, he's got an older brother that I mentioned is a football player, and he's recently gone off to college at Penn State. He's got an older sister who is a senior in the senior class with Sam and Patrick, and then his mom and his dad. Bob is an older character. To my remembrance, I don't believe it says how much older, but a few years older than Sam and Patrick, and they hang out at his house some. Michael is a main character, and he is the second of the two characters that is dead, and Michael was Charlie's best friend who recently committed suicide. Brad, Craig, and Susan are all supporting characters. Brad is a football player who is a homosexual, and he's in the closet, and him and Patrick, I guess you could say, are dating. Craig is Sam's boyfriend who is in college, and then Susan used to be good friends with Charlie. Susan dated Michael, the friend who had just committed suicide. So in this book, the kind of the story, and I'm not gonna give too much away, at least that's my goal, is it follows Charlie's freshman year. And so we start at the beginning, and he's telling us how he's nervous, and Michael has just recently committed suicide. We don't really find out why, but we know that Charlie is still really dealing with that at the beginning of the book. So throughout the book, Charlie is writing these letters to somebody we don't know, just kind of telling him what's going on. And Charlie goes through a lot of firsts. He encounters, you know, his first date, his first kiss. It's a real coming to age story. So all of those things that you can expect are in the book. So as it goes on, Charlie doesn't have any friends at the beginning of the book. His best friend has just committed suicide, and he's really nervous to go to school. So Charlie is in shop class, and that is where he, I don't want to say meets Patrick, but Patrick is also in the class with him. So Charlie goes to a football game one weekend and sees Patrick sitting next to Sam. And he says that Patrick just seems approachable. So he goes ahead and he goes up to Patrick and, you know, says hello. They let him sit down, and then after that they go out. And that is how Sam and Patrick become friends with Charlie. So throughout the book we see Charlie making friends with Sam and Patrick and their friends and fitting in. Now there's also the relationship with Bill, the teacher. Bill sees something in Charlie more than just what everybody else does. And so Bill starts assigning Charlie extra work. He gives him books, some of his favorite books to read, and then asks Charlie to write reports on them. This both fostering Charlie's interest in literature and in writing. Throughout the year, you see through the letters, Bill and Charlie spending time together and getting to know each other. And Bill just really fostering that relationship and making sure that he lets Charlie know that he is special. Mary Elizabeth. Now, Mary Elizabeth in the movie is played by, I don't know, I'm terrible at knowing actresses' name, but she has been in quite a few things. I'll insert her picture so that you can see who I'm talking about, and if I find her name I'll link it down below or something. this to me was perfect casting. She's all I could imagine when I was reading the book, so I absolutely love this. So there's a Sadie Hawkins dance at school, and Mary Elizabeth asks Charlie. Now Charlie is in love with Sam, but Sam does not feel the same way, or doesn't, how does she say it? She doesn't want him to think of her that way. And so Charlie accepts Mary Elizabeth's invitation, and subsequently, because of who he is and his personality, ends up dating Mary Elizabeth, even though he doesn't really even like her. So there's some real comical events that surround the whole dating of Mary Elizabeth and breaking up with Mary Elizabeth. So if you have not read the book, I honestly suggest you read them or see the movies just because of that. Because that moment, and you will know it, just cracks me up every single time. I don't want to talk too much about Aunt Helen because I feel like that relationship with Charlie and Aunt Helen is definitely one that you need to experience for yourself. And I don't want to give any preconceived notions or anything like that, or put my opinion on it. So I'll just say that Charlie and Aunt Helen, their relationship definitely changes throughout the book, even though Aunt Helen is dead. Charlie's relationship with his family is strained at best at times. They definitely worry about him. His parents obviously have issues also, which are addressed in the book. And then he has some real hard times, as well as some real touching moments with his sister. Now, the relationship with Michael is discussed, but like I said, we don't really ever get a reason as to why Michael committed suicide, which I think would really help us to understand Charlie even a little better than other things do. So that was definitely one of my disappointments. Now, I found this story to be entertaining both when I saw it on TV and when I read the book. It was very entertaining. It is definitely, there are some highs, there are some lows. I laughed. I won't say that I cried. I could see how somebody would be touched with the story and get emotional. It didn't really strike a nerve for me though. But I will say that the writing style of the letters is very effective. However, I do feel like there were some things that could have made it better. I love the letter format, but I wished that throughout the letters and the stories we could have figured out who Charlie was writing to. It may not matter, but to me, I just kind of feel like it would have been nice. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. It was a light, easy read. It was a good one that you could pick up and put down. It wasn't one that you had to finish all in one day, or that I didn't really feel like I necessarily needed to hurry through it, but I definitely enjoyed it. I would recommend this book for a light, easy read. It's not something that you're just going to love and want to run out and tell everybody about, but it's also not something that you're gonna have a hard time getting through, if that makes sense. So it's definitely, and if you're not a reader, I definitely suggest the movie. It's a good movie. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and videos like this. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section, whether it be about life or the book itself. And again, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe, tell your friends, and until next time guys, bye.